first do this by feeling, learning, acknowledging, hearing, empathizing, and we tirelessly do it. I hate that. I hate this whole like, I am learning it, because this is the part where you, like, this is coming from the left. We, the people on the right, conservatives, libertarians, independents, whatever, we ain't trying to cancel Awkwafina, right? It is always the left eating its own.
Well, first of all, what do you guys think about it?
Is it her accent?
So here's the thing. When you're from New York,
She's from New York.
she's from Queens. So it's like who you growing up,
I love, see, this is the reason why I want to do this video. They'll be like, these dudes, they'll be like, why are we even having this discussion?
Yeah. The crazy thing about her and why I always defend her is that it's like, what accent you want her to have, yo? She gotta have an Asian accent? Is that what you want? Or she gotta talk white? What you're basically saying is, hey, you gotta talk white. And the reality is she grew up in Queens, maybe grew up with more black folk than she did white folk, and that's gonna be the people that influence her accent the most.
100%. Hey yo, what's up you guys? So I'm coming to you another video and we're talking about Awkwafina. Yes, Awkwafina, she is getting cancelled. She's getting kicked off Twitter. Her Twitter is on radio silence over what? Her supposedly doing Blaccent.
Queen, live your dream, but don't sleep. Don't sleep. Cause she might disappear, saw that? Lit, right? Yeah. She came back though. She likes you. All right, let's hit it. And we're following the queen. And we're following the queen.
You know, cultural appropriation. Yes, all of this is stupid. Guess what? It's another day, another first world problems, and this is another example of it. Hopefully she sees this. Hopefully she sees how much people are backing her and that we really don't care. Don't listen to these people on Twitter and everything. So we'll break it down, get into it, talk about it. So with that said, shall we begin? But first, of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch. Hey Mitch, all the Mitches, the real Mitcher, toss a coin to your Mitcher, and pretty much I like talking about what I like talking about. So, current events, reviews, pop culture, social political commentary. Be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. Alright, so getting into it, this is coming from IndieWire, and again, this has dropped a few days ago, and other people have done other videos, but you know, like as always, I kind of want to go into this because I kind of like this topic, because I have done kind of like similar topics as far as cancellation, everything, cancel culture and everything, and this kind of like fills it up, especially coming from like an Asian American perspective as well. So we'll read into it, talk about a little bit more, and go into where my thoughts and going all of this. So, coming from IndieWire, Awkwafina clears up Blaccent and cultural appropriation during Black History Month. So again, this is Feb 7, Samantha Bergensen coming from IndieWire again. So Awkwafina is trying to make conversation surrounding her accent less awkward. The Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings star took to Twitter February 5th to address allegations around her Blaccent, a voice that stereotypically imitates forms of Black American dialect, as reported by The Hollywood Reporter. Awkwafina, whose real name is Nora Lum, tweeted that there is a social-political context to everything, especially the historical context of the African American community in this country. Awkwafina clarified her use of AAVE, the African American Vernacular English, was a result of being first-generation American. Lum is half Korean, half Chinese. I think this is straight from her Twitter. Awkwafina writes, "My immigrant background allowed me to carve an American identity off the movies and TV shows I watch and the children I went to public school with, and my underlying love and respect for hip-hop," and the Nora of Queens curator wrote. I think as a group of Asian Americans are still trying to figure out what their journey means for them, what is correct and where they don't belong. And though I am still learning and doing that personal work, I know for sure that I want to spend the rest of my career doing nothing but uplifting our communities. We do this first by failing, learning, acknowledging, hearing, and emphasizing. And I will continue to tirelessly just do that. Okay, so let's just go, there's a few things here, right? Other people have mentioned this about code switching, right? What brings to my mind, to my understanding, she's from Queens, right? She's grew up in this urban environment. And so I just want to kind of go with that, right? Like, and especially like Asian Americans, right? Filipinos, like, especially if you grew up in a lot of cities, like a lot of Asian Americans have, because a lot of Asian Americans gravitated towards the cities versus the rural areas. And obviously there are, but like if you see like the most Asian Americans, they are populated in like the West Coast, East Coast, in the major cities, right? And so why would it be any different for us to be quote unquote assimilated into the culture that is around us, especially in urban cultures? Like, again, like code, I like this idea of code switching. Again, it's like this idea where you can talk differently, again, with your parents or with your friends, you know, and it's like, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm not saying that, like, I grew up in the suburbs. I'm not saying that I grew up in like the hood or anything, but like, growing up, you can be like a little bit like, hey, yo, what's up? You know, and you can do this. And so I'm not saying that's straight up hip hop. I'm not saying that's black or black vernacular English or whatever. But there's this idea in which you can do this. And then other people have mentioned this. Like Awkwafina is an actress. She's a comedian. And then we're gonna listen to Andrew Schwartz, right? Yeah, so he's not a new YouTuber, but I started listening to him especially when I found this video or looking into talking about this video, and he did another TikTok which he did when I also found him on, where he's talking about like TikTok is an algorithm from China that praises stupidity, like especially for Americans, whereas in China it praises people who are doing well, right? Like academics and everything. So totally segment there, but we'll go into his talking points, and I really like it, and do kind of like a reaction video of it. And so, but again, code switching, like I remember BuzzFeed throwing out this video when they had like all the different BuzzFeed areas, and so let's take a quick look, right, to give you an idea. So I mean, in this particular one, it's kind of like Afro Latino type of thing. So just to give that. So as much as I despise like BuzzFeed sometimes, at least that gives like an idea. Like you talk differently with certain other people, right? And so I don't know. It's just like when you talk to your friends, you be like, I don't know about y'all, but like when I be like talking, but like, oh, you like, what happened was, you know, you just jump in these personalities. I don't know, maybe that's different for other people, but like depending on who I'm with, like I will talk differently with, like when I'm talking to my parents or my uncles and aunties, you know, like titas and titos, you know, like I'll be changing it up, and I don't understand how this is something that is seen as a negative. And I get it, because there you can talk. I think this is something, a different conversation in which, again, Asians in general, you can argue, is that you are seen as a foreigner, and for them to be culturally appropriating this, it is quote unquote in their eyes, it is seen as a negative. Which also brings me to two other things, right? That, you know, this whole idea, her last line is, we first do this by feeling, learning, acknowledging, hearing, empathizing, and we tirelessly do it. I hate that. I hate this whole, like, I am learning it, because this is the part where you, like, this is coming from the left. We, the people on the right, conservatives, libertarians, independents, whatever, we ain't trying to cancel Awkwafina, right? It is always the left eating its own, right? And it just, like, when will you learn not to placate to these people that don't like you anyway? Like, I don't understand. They're gonna attack you anyway, so you might as well just live your life to your fullest. Be your authentic self, as they would say, right? Also, another thing that this whole situation kind of reminds me of is when we're talking about like cultural appropriation, cancel culture. I did a video. It's 2 years old now. The whole like trap tea boba. So back in 2020, I believe, you know, we had in Aurora, Colorado, this black woke SJW person wanted to shut down this boba shop by naming their boba shop Trap Tea Boba House, right?
Thank you for coming.
Black culture.
Thank you for coming.
No, I came here because I thought it was black owned. That's why I came here. I told my friends I'm supporting a black business. This is not black owned. This is not black owned. Asians stealing black culture. Once again, you're a coon. Don't talk.
And so for her, it was this idea of, you know, you're appropriating name trap, but like, okay, she wasn't even trying to have a conversation. Watch that video in its entirety. She was totally in the wrong, right? Alright, so I kind of went off tangent there. Again, go watch that Trap T video to see what I'm saying here. I'll just go ahead, play the Andrew Swartz video for the rest of the video. Do kind of like how a reaction towards it, because I think it provides some good context in discussion as far as what we're talking about. So yeah.
So like Awkwafina is this actress, you've seen her in Shang-Chi and a bunch of other movies, Crazy Rich Asians, and she keeps on getting criticized for using a Blaccent. She's an Asian actress, she's half Korean, half Chinese. Friend of mine, we did, you know, back in the day, Girl Code, I think it was together. But, and she just keeps on getting criticized for using this Blaccent. And, well, first of all, what do you guys think about it?
Is it her accent?
So here's the thing. When you're from New York,
She's from New York.
she's from Queens. So it's like who you wrote,
I love, see, this is the reason why I want to do this video. They'll be like, these dudes, they'll be like, why are we even having this discussion? Like, she's from Queens, she's already like of urban culture in that environment. Why are we having this conversation?
And see, that's the thing that maybe you guys understand as like Canadians, like black people that are from Canada, because like you guys have an accent from your part of Canada.
Yeah, I understand.
Like y'all sound like you're from Quebec.
Okay.
It's different than when you're from Toronto. And the Toronto accent just popped up like a year ago. Like these motherfuckers sound like they were from New York 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden, ting, ting, ting.
Yeah,
right? It's like, everything is ting, ting, right? Like,
Hey, you're a wasteman. Yo, you was a wasteman.
It's like, and I get it.
I'm gonna defend Toronto for they've been saying
They've been saying that, but that was mainstream.
No,
They've been on that
because
field.
I hate Toronto, so keep going.
No, I love Toronto, but it feels like they're adopting an identity. Like if you listen to Tory Lanez talk, he talks he's from New York.
What do you say, my guy?
Every once in a while you see that shit. So, but I think that they're adopting.
Also, pause. I love this too, just because hopefully in the future I can do a setup like this. I love this idea of just like having a conversation in this kind of like a studio type of like environment. So hopefully we can get that done.
Identity that are from the influential cultures that are in the city,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And that's what we all do, right? So if you grew up in New York, yes, you're going to code switch. I'm going to speak one way around my...
So again, I kind of went up to this point because as soon as he talked about code switching, which also came to my mind, right? And other people mentioned this, like we talk about like AOC doing her thing and doing a Blaccent. I think that is more offensive.
This is what organizing looks like. Right. This is what building power looks like. This is what changing the country looks like. It's when we choose to show up and occupy the room and talk about the things that matter most, talking about our future.
Because she really doesn't talk like that. But like for Awkwafina to play a character and a comedian and a thing, I think that works better, you know? So
parents and one way around my friends.
Yeah.
And I think that we all do that.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about her and why I always defend her is that it's like, what accent you want her to have, yo? She gotta have an Asian accent? Is that what you want? Or she gotta talk white? What you're basically saying is, hey, you gotta talk white. And the reality is she grew up in Queens, maybe grew up with more black folk than she did white folk, and that's gonna be the people that influence her accent the most.
100%. And then this is why I want to do this video, right? I love that, and I love that portion because it's like what you're trying to say is you're the one who's trying to gatekeep all of this. You talk about cultural appropriation. You're just saying like you can't do this and stay in your lane, whereas she is part of this environment. She grew up in this environment, and so she is allowed to change it up. And so if you wanted to watch Harry Potter and you started want to do like an English accent, no one is going to call you about culture appropriating Hogwarts and English accents. But it's only of this genre that we're making an issue out of this.
Right?
100%.
If she grew up in Queens.
Bruh, I know.
She's around.
I tell her this all the time. I'm like, yo, that's yours.
Yeah.
You're a product of this city. Don't let anybody tell you how you can or can't talk. Now, here's the thing. I do understand the frustration, and we were talking to our boy Derek Poston, who opens up on the road for us, and he was bringing up this point. I understand the frustration of black people, where he's like, yo, if I, quote-unquote, Blaccent it up, I'm scary or dangerous to people. When other cultures lean in, it's endearing or funny. It's funny that this Asian girl has a blacker, quote-unquote, but we would call this a New York accent, but if you're not from New York, it's a black accent. Like, that is all of a sudden comical, right? So it's like, I understand that frustration. If you're black, you're going, yo, why when I do this shit, it's fucked up and dangerous, and when this Asian girl does it, it's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's just... Comedy's weird like that.
Yeah.
It's not precise, but besides that, yeah, she's from Queens. It's like that. People, it's not Asian people that speak like that. It's people from Queens that speak like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how I feel.
didn't Will Vicky get the same treatment?
Well, Nikki.
Well, Vicky.
No, well, Vicky.
Yeah.
Nikki.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But where's she from?
I'm pretty sure she's from like Houston or some shit, but that's her accent, right? From what I know. So my thing is this.
That might be a little cat.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's her accent, but the main thing I was going to say is I think it just comes down to the context. I understand the struggle. I understand where the hurt comes from, whether it be with the braids and the box braids and everyone switching up the names of the hairstyles because a white girl put it on. I get that.
Yeah.
But we can't throw away context because you feel that outrage. You got to understand, like, there's an individual on the other side of that you don't know, that you are crediting to a group think or a group idea, which is the same issue that you have being dealt to you. You get what I'm saying? You're being marginalized. You're being pigeonholed when you speak a certain way.
And now you're making...
And you're pigeonholing someone else, removing their identity, their individualism,
Yeah.
right? Or the place that they grew up in or all that, and just putting them in the people who are like appropriating your culture. No, that's her culture.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't just meet with that. And again, that comes back to the Rogan thing earlier where it's like people don't want to take the time to go beyond the 2-minute clip that they saw or anything like that to do a simple Google search to learn about folks. They don't have the energy.
Yeah.
They just saw her, they heard her speak, and they went, she's part of that group.
Yeah, I think the solution is not punishing someone for, like, you know, being a part of it. It should be trying to create a more accepting society that doesn't feel uncomfortable when black people talk black.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing with, like, cornrows. Like, when a black woman wears cornrows in the workplace, it's unprofessional. She can't wear hair like that. When David Beckham does it, wow, look how cool this guy is.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should punish David Beckham for wearing cornrows. I think we should accept black women when they wear cornrows.
And I understand black people's frustration with that.
But it's easier to punish one person than to try to make a whole society change.
That's true. That's true. So you're taking out that frustration on that one person. They become the figurehead for your frustration.
I'm going to make you feel how society made me
feel. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how it was.
And that's a human interaction.
You know, I think, okay, he's a human interaction. And so I think that is, especially, I just did a video on everything is going to be all right. As far as the trailer, I didn't actually watch the actual episode yet, and I want to, and I'm probably going to do that next. But I think that's where a lot of this frustration goes, right? It's not just like projection, right? It's this like you're targeting all your frustrations onto one person, right? In this case, it's Awkwafina, right? Like, you don't really care about her. You don't really care about her doing the thing that you have a problem with. It's because she represents it as far as like a target pool. Like she's like, you're dead center on her for doing this, and so you're gonna just drive all your frustrations on this one person, right? And so, alright, so I'll just pause it there. There's still like 10 more minutes into this, so I'm not gonna do the whole reaction video to this, so be sure to check it out. And so I just kind of want to give like some last ideas, final thoughts, and all of this. And so again, I kind of like where we're ending off here, in a sense where everyone's projection is just on one person. They don't really care. Like, when it comes to Joe Rogan, like, it's obviously a character assassination. They don't really care what he said. They don't care all this stuff. It's just they just have a target to put their frustrations in. Likewise with Awkwafina, right? They don't really care what she says or do or not do, or put in context she's a person from Queens, or she does like an actress or comedian or whatever. It's just a target of what they want. And so the last also comment in this, and like I said earlier, in which it's not the conservatives that is attacking this. You know, when everyone is saying like, oh, who's a racist person? Like, I think it's kind of racist to pigeonhole, as they were saying, to pigeonhole Awkwafina. Like, what do you expect her to say? Like, do you expect her to have an Asian accent? So it's gonna be, if she start having an Asian accent, isn't that stereotypical? And then so you want her to be what, a neutral accent, be white? Like, how about she just how about she just be who she is and talk the way she is, you know? And so I just think it's all of this is dumb, right? And so yeah, and I guess I just feel a little bit kind of, I'm not saying personal about this, I just feel like a lot of people do this, you know. It's not just when it comes to Asians or Latinos or blacks or whites or whatever. I think a lot of people code switch, and I think people should talk the way they want to talk and talk appropriately however they feel to other people. So I think that's good. I think there's a lot of points here, but at the very least, she shouldn't be canceled for something so innocuous. Something so minimal, right? And so, with that said, thank you for watching. Comment below, tell me what you think, and see you in the next video. You can follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitchMitch, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.